my estimation, 2 does and a baby came through here. Here's the doe. That's actually 2 different deer. 1, 2, 1, 2, and the baby came through here and knocked over this mushroom. There's a little sign of the baby coming on through here. Oh, that's a nice little plant there. If you look carefully, there's just sign everywhere. It's amazing how it's just all around us. It just takes a little bit of imagination to see it. I just trim back some key branches that give me clear long-range shots like that. And that. Come over to this side, down into there, and down into there. And it's from this position that I decide what brush I'm going to trim out in the field too. You don't want to do it from the ground because the perspective is so different from up in the tree. Up here I'm going to pick a couple key routes. Like that's a trail right there. That's a deer trail. I would like to be able to see down that trail a little farther. Back over here where the nice open areas are. I don't want anything getting in the way of my arrow. Over here where the water is. I'd like to be able to make some clean shots. So I'm going to trim back a few key areas just subtly. And then next time I get back up in this area to this particular location, I'll have a good, well-concealed blind up in this tree. And I'll have good key firing positions for the bow. And I've tested to make sure that I can draw the bow from this position too. Sometimes you can find the coolest stuff out in the woods. But this also serves to give a good example of why sometimes we hillbillies get very frustrated with what we classify or tend to label as hippie yuppies. Asheville's full of them. And I'm going to demonstrate it right here in just a second. I'm going to show you something. And please keep in mind that hillbillies are half hippie, so it's not like I'm being all that judgmental. But this gives a good example right up here. Number one, these people tend to hate hunters. You'll see them all over YouTube cussing and raising hell. They don't eat meat and whatever. Their cars are covered in bumper stickers about saving the earth and whatever. My first sign of this particular track was a necklace I found here. It's actually a nice necklace. And I found a towel. And then I found a tent that had been abandoned, perhaps in a rainstorm is my guess. And as I pulled the tent apart, I saw tofurkey. I saw Earth Fare, all natural orange juice. I saw guacamole. I've seen granola, all organic and meatless materials in a pretty nice tent. And I certainly don't want to classify all the hippies in Asheville into this category. This is definitely not true. But we do have a lot of folks that have a whole bunch of money, that are given a whole bunch of stuff from their parents, and then they go on a crusade to save the earth. It's like this passionate thing that they get into, but yet they don't really know about the earth. They might go to sort of an earthy college, they might smoke a lot of weed, they might hang out with a bunch of earthy kind of people that smell quite earthy. But a lot of times what I see as an outdoorsman who spends a lot of time in the woods is they're just as bad as some of the more redneck element that leaves trash and crap all over the place. And there goes a mouse. Did you see that mouse? In fact, I bet you if I hung out here for just another minute, that mouse will come out of that hole over there and I'll be able to grab him. So in some ways I could thank this particular person for providing me with an opportunity to grab and eat a small little field mouse who I otherwise would not have encountered. But that's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to be out in the mountains and to be enjoying the pristine beauty of nature and to find trash from somebody who, if they saw me walking out of here with a bow, would probably raise the biggest hell you could imagine about killing Bambi or some kind of crap. Here's where their tent was. You can see green grass versus brown grass and quite a big fire pit. At least they put all their trash into their tent that's full of mice and rats and snakes. Alright, that's my rant for the day. Maybe I'll keep this necklace here. Might even smell a little bit like patchouli. Talking about being earthy and having a passion and a love for the earth. Right here's one fella that does. I can't even explain to you what the sight of those mountains far off in the distance does. I see every nook and cranny and I think to myself, man, how many moss-covered rocks are there up there? I think to myself, look at those creeks down in the bottom. Think of all the pools filled up with trout fish. All the buck deer bedded down for the afternoon, the does raising their young. Think about all the big old growth trees that are hidden down in these places, up in these coves, and the springs jutting out of the rocks. Think of that. And then go and find them. Surely the best thing about being out here is just being out here. And if all else fails, you can always sit you out a salt block and get your guitar, which every suitable mountain man will have on his person, and sing for the deer. Maybe you can call them in. Hey, Mr. Buck Deer, won't you come on out and play? I wanna eat you today. I won't do no harm, just sitting here hunting my way. La 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 la. La la la, need to make some words. I just made this one up. But you are a deer, so it don't really matter. I better just give it up.